Hello, every pony. It's your favorite fluffy pony, Venomous Pie, the picky pie of this accommodation. Welcome to another episode of Bronimaniacs Discuss. I have with me this afternoon our Twilight Sparkle, Mr. Sharpwit.
Hey Vector, you haven't seen anything yet. You're gonna miss that Skittle-alicorn, as you said, called her.
Oh, jeez. We have our... Well, he was originally our Featherbanks, but we decided to have him our Sunburst instead. We have our Boltoist.
My butt got to glow in this episode.
Oh my.
Oh, yes.
We also have our...
I that Mettaton.
We have our Vinyl Scratch, Mr. Sunny.
Hey!
Our Fluttershy, Miss Violet Bloom.
I have this huge grin on my face.
We also have our Apple Bloom, Litzy.
So, Mr. Vector Brony, you can survive the Skittle-alicorn, but can you survive the fire one? Because it's time to burn, baby!
Alright then. We also have our Mod...
The Kingdom Hearts reference when applies.
We also have our Mod Pie, Little Looney.
You might want to consult your parents before listening to this podcast.
Our Trixie, David.
Please see the index at page 132. Because that's how crazy we are.
And we also have our Rainbow Dash, Kanata.
Greetings, every pony.
And finally, we have ourselves a special guest. He's been absent from us for quite some time, but he decided to come back here as our guest of the hour. Please welcome aboard our former rarity, JediPadawanDaniel.
I'm back, bitches! Sam, if you don't get that reference, I'm going to hurt you. Greetings, everyone. I am your boy.
Oh, it's your boy Guzma? Oh, no. It's your boy Guzma.
Not that name.
It's your boy,
John Cena!
Whip my ears.
Anywho, the episode we'll be discussing today is the parrot trap. I mean, the parrot map.
Parent trap? What?
Don't tell us, Ben, you did that on purpose.
I actually don't know which one.
Parent Trap.
Totally thinks that, Ben.
When you say Parent Trap, don't you just mean Candy Crush?
No.
Candy.
Anyways, you know how this whole thing works. We go in a random order on one positive for the episode, and then we will go in reverse order for our one negative, and then we will give our final rating. So,
I dropped my mic.
You had one job, Balto.
One job.
We have many jobs.
Anyway.
yeah. So, anyways, up first shall be...
Professionalism, everybody.
What is this professionalism that you speak of?
I don't even know that word.
You know what? You know what, Daniel? Since you're our special guest of the hour, why don't you start us off?
What I liked about the episode was how relatable Starlight and Sunburst were. And I'm not saying that because Starlight's my favorite pony or anything. No bias here, I mean...
Who is the Starlight you speak of?
Glim Glam and the Zim Zam!
Of course.
And now I need to lock my doors before Will shows up with a gun. Right. I liked how relatable they were to an extent in this episode. I mean, like at the beginning part with Sunburst, or it's like how he was with the male pony, with the when he was looking at the books and distracted and everything. That's basically how I am with video games. So I found that kind of relatable, along with the part where they had the problem with their parents. And this is a side note. Is it just me, or do their parents kind of reflect them a bit as well? Like, like Starlight's dad kind of felt more like a bit of like an older version of Sunburst in a way, while Sunburst's mother felt like a little bit like an older version of Starlight in a way.
I can't help but notice that, in all honesty.
So that kind of says a bit about their friendship if you think about it.
Sorry, fanfics, everyone.
Right? You're fanfics, blondies! I command you!
Oh, believe me.
Bring the fanfics into this one.
What if Starlight and Sunburst are actually brother and sister?
Unlikely.
If that's so, then there's probably like a lot. If they are brother and sister, then there's going to be quite a few incest ships of that. Then
Anyway.
Try getting that image out here.
Moving on.
Yeah, let's move on, please.
Yeah, before this turns into a pony version of Sword Art Online. I mean, what?
Oh God!
Oh Jesus!
I love you already, man. I love you already.
Anyway, Daniel. So, if you're done, who do you pass it off to?
Eeny, meeny, miny, Sharpie.
That wasn't me that time.
Sharpie.
Hide!
Duck and cover, people. Sharp, the floor is yours.
I think he's under Daniel's bed.
Oh my.
He's not dead.
Alright, whenever you're ready, Sharp.
My positive. The parental development for Starlight and Sunburst. Yay for that! It only took 2 seasons, unless 3 if we count also season 5. But as a I count only as a Starlight and as a protagonist, so only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And we also know why they are actually, and by that they also kind of the reason why they are who they are. Like Starlight went into villainous world, and Sunburst is socially awkward because their parents sex.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yes. So not enough insanity, unfortunately today. Guess I tried to be original, hopefully, with my positive. So, aren't my pick for the next person isn't obvious?
I believe so, but say it anyway.
Do I have to state the obvious? Who is it? That is Violet. Who is next after me?
Alright, floor is yours, Violet.
Okay, anyway. Well, my positive for this episode, well, I have to say the facial expressions. I mean, I know that there's a lot of anger and a bit of cringe, but you have to admit the facial expressions of Starlight and Sunburst trying to avoid embarrassment from their parents.
Yeah. That would explain quite a bit.
Yeah. Just seeing how Starlight was like, Dad, you're embarrassing me, sort of face, and Sunburst was like, Mom, could you please stop with all your planning, sort of thing. That's actually pretty funny when you look at it. I think the animators might have a bit of fun with the facial expressions there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I will admit the facial expressions in this episode were glorious.
I mean, they must go in these episodes and just have a ball with the expressions.
We saw choked Starlight and crying Sunburst, and it was all adults at the same time.
I mean, it's amazing. It really is.
It's going to be one of those episodes where it's not even remembered for the plot. It's going to be one of those episodes where it's like, we can make a meme out of this. We can make a meme out of this. We can make a meme out of this.
That's what I love about the show, is that you're not even 5 minutes into the episode, and we have expressions galore.
You say something going to be around for the plot. What about Sunburst? Wait, what?
Sunburst? Who's the Sunburst?
By the way, guys, I just saw something.
What?
When we got that brief glimpse at Starlight's room, did it come off as a bit gothic to y'all?
It's
Isn't that obvious?
So I'm kind of
Yeah.
what does gothic Starlight Glimmer look like?
Wait for the fan art.
Yeah, wait for the fan art.
Because I love
Anyway.
Gothic Fluttershy, I'm curious to see how much All loves Gothic Starlight.
Same.
Speaking of Starlight's room, did anybody like plushie near the cabinet, on top of the cabinet?
Being on top of the.
Yeah, there was like a Twilight Sparkle looking plushie somewhere in that room.
That's not Twilight. Twilight
It's a
is
bat pony. It's a bat pony plushie.
Oh, was it a Flutterbat plushie?
Oh, it's too blue.
I was kidding.
Wish.
So that was on Podcast. Okay.
When did Fluttershy turn blue?
Anyway. Before we get off topic, I'm going to say that those facial expressions are definitely going to be meme-worthy. If not by today, then definitely in a few days from now. If not by the end of the week.
Oh.
Let's hope for that. I mean, there's a missed opportunity in season 7 finale.
Violet, just wait. You are going to see memes come out of this episode.
Like, as soon as we finish the podcast, bang, over 500 memes.
You get a meme. He gets a meme. She gets a meme. You're gonna meme.
You all get a meme.
Sunburst mom that was posted by Vector in the Twitch chat that I posted in the Discord server for you guys.
Okay. Sunny, I know that you're trying to share that, but we're trying to keep it professional in the podcast, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with that said, I'm going to pass it off to Ven.
Oh, my turn, is it? Okay. Alright. Oh, where do I even begin with this? My positive for this episode... Starlight... Sunburst... You two, I can wholly relate. Especially when they return back to their old hometown and see a lot has changed. It's that feeling you get when you're away from your home, your old home to, for your life per se, to forge your own path. But then all of a sudden you see what's changed, and it's a weird feeling. So yeah, on that front, I could definitely relate to Starlight and Sunburst on that front. Kind of makes me wonder what happened to my old childhood home. I mean, I used to move quite a bit when I was a kid. So yeah, definitely my biggest positive is the relatability of both Starlight and Sunburst. Those two really made the episode for me.
I'm pretty sure the writers too, when they're writing these plot lines for the episode, they must think about their childhood and their past when they're writing the characters. And did somebody leave?
Speaking of plots, that's Starlight.
Alright, that being said, I don't think I have anything else to say. So, let's see. I'll pass it off to Kanata.
Who?
I'll pass it off to Kanata.
Okay, my positive for this episode is Starlight and Sunburst's parents, when they came off to be. In my opinion, those two turned it out to be probably some of the most relatable parents that I think most will deal with, especially with Sunburst's parents when she was always trying to tell them to prepare for the future and everything. A lot of people nowadays can relate to that, and having parents that always try to, go with them, have a plan for the future and everything. And they can also relate to Starlight's parents, Starlight's dad, with how they always treat their son like they are like little kids, even though they're in their 30s. In my opinion, these two are like some of the most relatable parents out there. I wouldn't say they are the most, but they are really up there. And I don't know if any of you have noticed, but it feels like with everybody's parents, like everyone's parents that we have seen throughout the main sets, they all cover a different field of parents that we all see in real life. With Twilight being the fun and crazy parents, Rainbow Dash being the being too supportive parents, Applejack's being the love at first sight parents, the Fluttershy being the shy and pushover kind of parents, Starlight's dad being the always being like the young one and always being kids, and with Sunburst being always preparing for the future and always having a plan for your life.
Or rather, it's like the kind of mom or dad that says everything for you and says you are gonna be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever that is, even though you don't know, but I don't care.
You didn't mention Rarity's parents.
We don't know anything about them.
We don't know much about Rarity's parents. It feels like those are the only parents we are missing, because we have seen. It feels like we've seen.
Hush, because this will go. I'm gonna talk about this.
Okay.
Okay.
In other words, shh, no spoilers.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
that's all I pretty much have to say for this episode. For my positive for this episode, the series has gone a long way with how they've been treating parents since season 1. The series has gone a long way with providing different kinds of parents that anybody can relate to one way or another. And with that, I'll pass it off to Blitzy.
Oh boy. Boy. All I'm going to say, if you hate me after today, that'll be fine. Because, well, I'm getting this out of the way. For a Starlight episode, in my opinion, this was good. It's not the best. I still say All Bottled Up is the best, but then again, that comes down to Trixie being amazing. But yeah, this episode was good. It was all right. In terms of my positive, it's a bit like my positive and negative both sort of share the same thing, for the lack of a better word, is the fact that the writer, after doing the same lesson 4 times, actually pulled it off. And I'll get on to why I'll get on to my negative in a minute when it comes around to it. But otherwise than that, the same I should probably not talk about it as I'm going off on a tangent. Yeah, the writer actually put the lesson off quite well. It's not like bloody hell, I keep forgetting what it's called. The episode with Rainbow Dash's parents, where it's a bit like
parental guidance.
Parental guidance, when they have to force Rainbow Dash into a negative position to put Rainbow Dash in the wrong, to make it seem like, Ray, if my parents are being really, really supportive of me and being generally annoying and generally being like stopping your day job, it's a bit like, well, maybe Rainbow Dash, if you look at that situation, Rainbow Dash was in the right. Rainbow Dash had all the right to like lose it at her parents, and then they painted it as Rainbow Dash being in the wrong. Like, that episode could have been brilliant if it was handled better, but I feel like they did it better in this episode, because yes, Starlight and Sunburst do go nuts at them, which is completely fine. Starlight and Sunburst do lose their nut at their parents, but then they rectify it in a way that wasn't infuriating. So yeah, that's actually my main positive, is that they actually rectified a lesson they taught earlier on in MLP, which I'm actually quite happy with. So I pass it on to Looney. Take the stage.
Alright, let me just pull up my notes over here.
Yep. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I really enjoyed meeting the parents of Doom. Like, their interactions were believable, and it never came across as cringy, unlike what Lizzie was talking about a certain episode about Rainbow Dash's parents. But what I especially liked was the message. Like, growing up and moving away from your parents can be quite a hard time, and you return to them, they try to coerce you into living life the way they want you to live it. Like, it's actually a very relatable message. Like how they set up this plan for you in the long run. Like, it's a very relatable episode. I kind of like it for that.
You got anything else, dude?
Nope. Shows how prepared I came to this podcast.
Alright. Where do you pass it off to?
Who hasn't been yet?
Sunny. Yeah, Sunny, David, and Balto. Who is BLB.
May as well give it to Sunny.
I think my big positive about the episode was the entire message, because I feel like the message itself is very relatable, especially kind of that teen, young adult audience, as well as the fact that I felt like it was handled was very realistic. It wasn't some big plan to apologize. It was just they simply talked it out, and I personally kind of like how relatable that is. I like episodes like that, like in Once Upon a Zeppelin, where it's just something that you can definitely see yourself being in, and that's my big positive for the episode. I don't really think I have anything else to add to that positive, so still need who to go?
David.
David's the only one because Balto's not back yet.
Yeah. So I'll pass.
Alright, go ahead, David.
Okay. Wow. Another one of these episodes where it really hits close to home. Like everybody said before me, this episode is really, really relatable. With their storyline and the characters. I mean, but my positive is I liked the shop ponies. Booksellers and the hardest rock. Oh my god. Were so funny because especially the bookshop ponies when Starst said, so you can't pick up the books, you can't read the books. And I was like, I came across a bookseller like that in real life. Like, it was so book ponies because when I saw them, I was like, that one time I was in the bookstore and the one section of the store I couldn't touch for some reason. I said to the shop owner, I said, so why are they on display? And he had no good answer. I'm like, it's ridiculous. Like, why can't we buy these books? And I'm like, doesn't make sense. I mean, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 of them, and you cannot buy any of them because they're not in stock. So
my life's worst nightmare.
Yeah,
Thank you,
my worst nightmare.
Sorry.
What's that?
I said I was gonna say thank you, Bob, because you and I were thinking the same thing.
But that was my positive. Just the shop ponies themselves, and also Starlight and Sunburst. They were really good in this episode too. They were really spot on. So is that everybody?
By the way,
Balto.
Yep, Balto's left.
By the way, what defines the term "how does a rock offensive"?
Good one, Looney.
Alright, so go ahead, Balto.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure my positive's been taken at this point, but it's basically just how relatable this episode can be to certain people. like how some parents are overprotective, some plan ahead too often. My mother, but yeah. And I guess as a side note, in the Crystal Empire, giving a tip means giving them a carrot.
Ponies have to eat even in a job.
Can't let ponies starve.
I know, but they need bits to buy the food, don't they?
It was a token.
They get the bits as like a, what is it? Oh yeah, a paycheck sort of thing. But I guess that one is just a token, you know.
Logic in Pony World.
And when have we ever had no logic in Pony World?
I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much my positive.
Alright, you're the last one to go, so on to negatives.
Oh, okay. So, negatives. This might sound weird, but it was kind of the way... Well, actually, no, I have a better negative than that. It was... My negative is basically the way that Starlight's dad and Sunburst's mom were just trying to, like, force Well, it was morally the mom trying to force problems, but history lessons and whatnot, just the way that it was put out, more so Sunburst's mom, but like, we're gonna act this out. No, okay, I'm gonna go start something. Like, really? You're like my grandmother.
Trying to force a friendship lesson. Why does that sound familiar? Yes, I think lesson 0 would like to have a word for this episode.
I was just about to say, hey, Kanata, have any second opinions on that yet?
No.
Yeah, of course. No.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Alright, David, back to you.
Okay, back to me. Negatives. I found some of the pacing of this episode the opposite. It was kind of slow in some parts, like especially with the beginning of the episode with the one pony seller again selling those spray essences. Like, I don't know why they needed to write that pony in the episode, but it did do good for comedic relief, I guess. But I found the pacing was kind of slow in some parts. You know, like I swear some pieces out that weren't needed. Like, you know, the part where they were like in the back of the store talking. I don't know, maybe that was a highlight, but I felt like it wasn't needed, you know, so.
And once it comes to my turn, I'll be kind of expanding on that.
Okay, well, that's all for my negative, so.
Alright, let's see. Sunny, you're next. Sunny?
Something about the pacing of the episode would probably have to be my negative. I don't exactly know what, it just kind of felt like some of the pacing was off, which I kind of felt it when between the parents was solved. It felt a little bit quicker in comparison to the rest of the episode. Other than that, I would have loved to see more of the town, personally. There were a few ponies that looked unique, but we didn't hear anything from. So to be longer, which is usually not possible. So I'd say my negative is really just the pacing of the episode. I don't know. I can't exactly pinpoint exactly what, just in general, I guess.
That's fair. Looney?
Yeah, this may seem like a bit of a weird negative, but remember on the first week when they made it seem like the conflict was going to be about their parents feuding with each other?
I noticed it right off the bat, too.
Yeah, same.
Am I the one that's kind of disappointed that there turned out to be a red herring?
Wait, what?
The real conflict to do with their relationship with their parents and not a feud between them or anything. Like,
interesting.
That actually would have made the episode very personal for me since I had to deal with family feuds on a regular basis.
Well, you know, Looney, you do make a good point that most of these MLP episodes do hit home. You know, they do. Like this was another family-related episode, I think.
Like, don't get me wrong, I still found it to be a good episode in the end, but it's kind of a bummer they were setting up to be one plot line to change it halfway through.
I can see where you're coming from.
I think the reason they chose not to have it as a family feud is because they didn't have Steve Harvey for the episode.
I don't know if that kind of available.
Wow, really?
I wish.
I just
Get on writer Steve Harvey episode.
And before he's a special guest for season 9.
Why not? I mean, hey, AC Racefest was a guest on Steve Harvey's show, so...
You never know.
That's fair.
I guess at this point anything's possible.
I think you should be a guest voice, Looney.
No, I'm not a voice actor.
I'll see Steve Harvey on Brony's React.
Oh, God.
I mean, I'm a voice actor.
Anyway.
Alright. Yeah, you got anything else, Looney?
Nope. That'll be it.
Alright, your templates.
Is it Starlight?
Surprisingly not Starlight.
Let's, are you there?
Surprisingly.
He's there.
I'm here. Just really freaking annoyed that for some unknown reason, this is the 4th time we have had this same exact freaking lesson. And you know what makes it even better is that it was the same writer on every one of those occasions. Now, I'm fine with repeating messages every now and then, because obviously, if it's a message from season 1, obviously people probably won't have gone back and watch the episodes. That's completely fine. But these messages have been from season 4 onward, and season 4 was a few years ago. See, repeating lessons from season 1, 2, and 3 is completely fine. I completely understand that. That's great. And maybe, it's about time you start repeating them from season 4. But we had this exact lesson last season as well. And it's a bit like, why would you repeat it in season 8 when season 7 is still sort of recent? And it's a bit like this writer can only write one type of episode, which I'm not complaining because, like I said in my positive, this is the best executed version of this lesson. But it's becoming a problem. I'm someone that likes to take the lessons from MLP because I have learned a lot of things from MLP. And tell me when I say that. I won't go on it now because there's like a full list because I'm repeating them constantly. It's a bit like, what is in the point in teaching that lesson in the first place when you could be teaching brand new lessons to a new audience? And I know there's only you can teach. That is completely understandable and that is completely fine. But the problem with doing that is that these kids are going to get it drilled into their heads. And it's a bit like there's going to be no room to teach them anything else, because at the end of the day, MLP is a kids show, and I know I have a little cousin that freaking loves MLP, and she's partly the reason why I like it as well. And I'm not gonna lie when I say that. And sometimes when I'm round hers, I'll watch the episode with her, and it's usually a fun, pleasant experience. But I just feel sorry for her that the fact that the writers are literally teaching the lesson again, and it's basically wasting an episode to teach a lesson that's already been taught. But the thing is with this episode, and why I wouldn't exactly call it absolutely utter dog crap, is because they've rectified the lesson and they made it good. but it still feels like a waste of an episode because they've tried to teach the same lesson yet again. And it just really bugs me and really, really frigging annoys me.
Can I ask you something, Blood?
Here's the thing. That's the common complaint everyone has with all the Fluttershy lessons.
And I think I have a bit of a theory on
But with
this.
like Fluttershy is that they've rectified it. It ain't easy being breezy is one of my favorite episodes, and it's the reason why Fluttershy is my second favorite pony. Breezy's rectified it, and we haven't had that problem since. It's just that with these episodes, the episodes that are getting rectified are fairly recent episodes that are just being retaught again.
Can I ask you something, Blood?
Yep, be my guest.
What were the other episodes that repeated this lesson?
Oh, crap, I've forgotten the names of them. No, one of them was parental guidance.
Well, it wasn't written by Dave Rapp for starters.
Yeah, that was written
but
by
another one
Baldo's
was-
favorite writer, George Hamilton.
I'll slap him one day.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm
Go on.
I'm getting my facts wrong. So scratch what I just said. But it's still annoying that they're still trying to just do episodes. They're trying to redo like past lessons.
I think I might have a bit of a theory on that.
Let's
Go
hear it,
on.
Daniel.
Well, who's to say that the writers of those episodes, like, might not have, maybe some of them might have had problems with their parents in the past and might hold a little bit of regret, and so they decided to make episodes to where, or they could try and help teach a lesson to help people that might have gone through the same kind of struggles that they might have gone through. That's probably why they hammer in the lesson, is because they are trying to help out people that might have gone through those kind of struggles that they went through. Or, yes, it might have been might have happened like from season 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, but still, it's probably just because a lot of people, like from kids, teens to young adults, have issues with their parents and stuff like this, and these kind of episodes were probably just made to help them, because let's face it, like, it's getting to nowadays where a lot of people, where issues that parents and children have with one another or tend to be getting a bit stronger and worse in some situations, and episodes like this are made to try and probably help them with dealing with that, try and help them see that there's a way around it, and try to help them figure out ways to work things out with their families if they're struggling with some of the same situations that are.
I hate to say it, I deal with that very problem in my own life.
That's my theory.
It could also be that some of the newer writers may not have seen some of the episodes, if any, from the earlier seasons. So you also have to take that into consideration.
Exactly what Balto just said. These writers are newcomers, so they don't get the luxury of going back to, let's say, season 6 and 5 and even 7, and looking back.
Yeah, but that's where research comes in.
Well,
Thing
yeah,
is with
but-
me,
Guys,
Yes.
as a writer to be, that's impossible.
What is?
And besides, let's ask you a question. Sorry, Violet. Since when writers of MLP actually consult their episodes with each other?
You have to keep in mind, you also have to keep in mind TV shows, they have deadlines.
Plus, it's impossible to avoid the repetition, because honestly, there's so many ideas out there that can actually work, but there's only some that can actually be put in the show.
Hmm.
So even if they know about the fact that some of the episodes in the past have similar lessons like the one that they're currently writing, it's probably difficult for them to try and change it because because they are trying to play by their strengths.
That's fair.
And there is also one other thing. Blitzy, you totally got the facts wrong. Dave Rapp wrote this kind of moral for the first time.
Well, I've admitted to my mistake in that department. I've already admitted to that.
Yeah, last Dave Rapp episode I remember was Newbie Dash.
We do not speak of that episode in the call.
Yeah, we do not. We do not mention that crap heap of an episode.
Am I the only one that doesn't mind it?
I'm kind of neutral on it.
I'm neutral, but I'm just saying that so we don't have a triggered Sharpwit in the call.
We don't want him losing his body again.
Alright, let's move on before we get too off topic.
Yeah, please.
Alright, I know Kanata is BRB, so,
I'm back.
Oh, sorry, didn't hear command.
No, he's not.
He's been back!
I've been back for like 15 minutes.
What are you talking about? Kanata's not here.
Balto, you shut up! Balto, please, just be quiet and let Kanata talk.
Okay. Okay, my negative for this episode is resorting to Starlight and Sunset snapping to get them to learn their lessons. It feels like that is always the default situation the characters has to be in for them to learn their lessons. From Twilight snapping to Princess Celestia, to Newbie snapping at her parents, to Starlight snapping at Trixie when it comes to all bottled up. I don't know how they could have. I know that they could have gotten to this point without them like resorting to snapping. And this wouldn't be a problem for me if they didn't do it the previous episode. May not have had much of a decision it came in, but it's a little annoying to see Twilight snapping at Celestia in order for Twilight to learn her lesson, only for Starlight and Sunburst to do the exact same thing of snapping to learn their lessons. I just think that there could have been a different way to come across the same path without it just resorting to snapping all the time. And it feels like that's always their default. That feels like that's their default way of getting characters to learn their lessons. And I just think that there are better ways to come across it, in my opinion, to get people to learn their lessons.
I can see a point.
But that is all I have. Lives.
Alright, so it's my turn. Okay, so my negative for the episode, well, there's actually a little bit more negatives than I thought it was going to be upon second viewing, but if I had to pick one of them, it would have to be this question. Okay, there are plenty of other ways to have them go to their old home, maybe a flashback from the past, they realize that they kind of missed their home, or some form of guilt, like what happened to Twilight in Amending Fences. But why the heck are they chosen by the map? Why did they have to put the map into this? It really didn't feel like it was, I know it's part of the title, but it really felt like that the map is pretty much unneeded.
Wasn't that the same problem with the triple threat, like Spike was basically called to the friendship problem he caused?
Yeah.
That was my negative back when we covered triple threat.
Yeah, it's kind of some of the same problem, but with Spike, it just kind of came out of nowhere. But this episode, it really felt like it was unneeded. There are plenty of better ways you can have Sunburst and Starlight start the conflict of the episode. Like for example, with Twilight visiting her old home at Candelot in Amending Fences. that was a brilliant setup. So
here's the problem. Twilight wasn't like not missing her home. She was missing her home and her kind of sort of her old life. Right. Starlight and Sunburst not that much because we saw why.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So that's why they needed some serious push to not even trying to avoid getting back. That's why Matt.
That's a fair point. But I kind of feel like it also messes up with the lore of the map a little bit. Okay, when Starlight got summoned, you can make the argument that a trace of her magic went into the map when she helped Twilight try to fix it back in Season 6. So, when Starlight got summoned in Overall Problem, yeah, it was caught me off guard, but at the same time, I can somewhat get it. I know this is all theory territory, but I can at least understand that.
I still question this.
But Spike, it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, he has his throne, so...
That, and also, remember, he was born with Twilight's magic, so...
Interesting theory.
Kind of has to do with how the characters tie together.
So pretty much what I'm trying to say is, it kind of messes up with the lore behind the map. Like, there is a small part of me that wished that the map only focused on the main 6 because of how it connects to the elements of harmony.
Thank you.
Yeah, but then again, Van, it's all about expansion, you know? Because there's some people that say, well, how come the characters outside the map don't get called?
If I may, didn't that already happen in Surf and Turf? So you're kind of late to the party. Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still shocked the Cutie Mark Crusaders got called.
Yeah, that made no sense in my opinion. It's like...
guys, wrong episode.
Yeah,
wrong episode.
Yeah, we're getting too off topic here.
At this point, I'm not surprised about anyone being caught by the map.
So yeah, in conclusion, I had a problem with Triple Threat, I had a problem with it with Surf and or Turf, and I have a problem with it in this episode. Again, I understand that some people say it's a minor negative, and there is a part of me that wishes that it only resides in the main 6 when it comes to the map. But I can understand why the writers resorted to this. So it's a minor negative, but it still kind of bugs me.
Your word, plot convenience.
So with that being said, I'll give the floor to Violet.
Okay. Let's see here. The negative. Negative. Ah, okay. Well, I'll have to say this. Why does it have to be cringy?
Yeah, that was one of my other negatives.
Like, seriously, even though I actually enjoy it a few times here and there, but it's too cringy, and especially with the parents' constant behavior throughout the entire episode about how Starlight's dad keep treating her like a filly, even from the beginning, even to the point of trying to solve the friendship problem or trying to find it. And then Sunburst's mom with trying to make plans for his future, and then ends up planning a fake friendship problem for Sunburst to solve, and refusing to listen to Sunburst when he tries to explain that's not how the friendship problem thing works. But that's not the real cringy bit. Oh no. The real cringy bit is the fact that they are going back to Made in Manhattan level of cringe, which is basically just going around trying to find a friendship problem by talking to other people instead of actually letting it flow, like how Pinky said in the Spice Up Your Life. So this is like the cringe level of lesson 0, where Twilight forced a friendship lesson, mixed with the Maid in Manhattan of Rarity and Applejack trying to find a problem instead of letting it find them.
Interesting.
My little cringy, my little cringy.
You know, actually, to be fair, for me that wasn't the cringiest of episodes.
But for me, that is still a bit cringy, especially since this is done by two ponies who weren't supposed to even get involved with the map mission at all, because they weren't called by the map or anything like that. Like Starlight said, my dad wasn't called by the map. I was. That's what Starlight said. So the fact that their parents just do it because reasons, that's worse than the fact that Rarity and AJ were trying to find a friendship problem, because at least they know that they have to find it since it's their mission. But this one, the parents just get involved and take their children's mission just so that they can help.
Ruby Racer. Sorry.
Well, that's probably just because they want to spend more time with their kids. I mean, a lot of parents will look for any kind of excuse so that way they can hang out with their kids, because they don't get to see them that often much anymore.
True.
And I can relate to it because my parents would like to spend more time with me, but I'm always on my computer and stuff. And basically, I can relate to this episode because it's a little personal for me, because I basically kind of I'm always in my room, and stuff. My parents are in the living room, and they usually do be in there and hang out with them every now and then, but I always choose to be in here. So I kind of relate to the problem in this episode, and that's why I like the episode, not just because it's a Starlight episode, but because of how relatable it is.
True.
This episode really relates to me on a personal level.
True, but the fact that, okay, that's why I don't mind the cringe too much at the beginning bit, where it's natural for the parents to behave that way towards their kids because they really miss them. But when I get to the friendship problem bit and them thinking that there's a deadline, and the fact that they thought it was a proper job by Princess Twilight, or they would be fired from doing friendship missions and all that, that's when it gets a bit too much for me.
That's fair.
Well, like we said before, this is another type of those parents that know better.
It is basically called the helicopter parents, and trust me, we have plenty of those here in Asia. I'm just very lucky that my parents aren't that type. If not, I wouldn't even be here.
You know what else about the parents in this episode? It's a reverse situation. Instead of the kids trapping the parents, it's the parents trapping the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Way to make the reference to the title even more obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bit of a personal bias as well in the negative over there, because the parents feel too much like the helicopter parents that we have here in Asia.
Okay, who here in the call is on their own?
What do you mean?
Like, who here in the call is their own? Like, without restrictions, like without their parents around?
That depends how you would approach the question.
And is that kind of a little bit of a personal question? Like,
something that is best saved for the post show, not the podcast.
Okay, but this also has to relate to the topic at hand, right? Because
David, please.
I know. I'm just emphasizing it.
Alright.
Yeah, but please save it for the post show.
Yeah, that's a bit too personal, dude. Not gonna lie.
Fair enough.
Alright. You got anything else, Violet?
No, so Sharpwit, you're up.
Let's break this mood a little bit. For my negative, Starlight and Sunburst parents when we get to meet and get in development after 2 seasons. Yay! Okay, don't get me wrong. I love that part. I love the development for parents. I love the background thing. However, how long did it take to actually get the development for, say, Twilight's parents? Oh yeah, 7 seasons. How long did it take to even met Applejack's parents? Yeah, 7 seasons. How long to say we got for the Rainbow Dash parents? Yes, 7 seasons. Development for Pinky parents because we met them, but we actual the present development. How long? 6 seasons.
5.
Development for
5.
Okay, 5. Heartbreakers. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but my point still stands. How long did we wait for even meet and for Fluttershy parents season? How long did we get? We didn't get the development for Rarity's parents. We only know they exist and how they look. My point. Where's the development for Rarity's parents, or rather, development for like earlier? That should be something that should be done like this. At least, at worst, 2 seasons in the series, not like 7 or 5. It's a minor nitpick, but it's still wrong. And I blame Hasbro for that.
Going off that just a little bit for that matter, Spike's parents.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the development for Rarity's parents ends up being like Timmy's parents from the Fairly Odd Parents. Let's do the 5th.
That's silence.
Yeah.
That speaks everything.
Okay. Daniel?
Okay. Well, I kind of say how this episode's like relatable and a little personal for me, and partly in a little bit in a bad way, because honestly, like I said, I relate how Starlight and Sunburst felt for their parents a bit, and how I can relate to the parents a bit because how my parents feel. But I also kind of had a little bit of a close Sunburst mother. Is kind of like, it kind of reminds me a bit like my dad in a way. Not completely, but in a little bit. With making a plan and stuff and me getting annoyed. It kind of just reminds me of how it kind of just makes me see myself and my dad a bit. And that kind of just hit a bit of a personal note for me. It didn't stop me from enjoying the episode. Oh, much like One Bad Apple, it made me really hate that episode, but that's off topic. But yeah, it just it kind of got me a bit in the feels, both positive and negatively, but mostly so I still like the episode, I just wasn't too thrilled at seeing how the relationship between Summers and his mother were a little bit, not completely, but a little bit similar to my dad's relationship in a way. And don't get me wrong, I love my dad and everything. I love my mom as well. I mean, love them both, and they love me and everything. It's just seeing that just kind of makes me open my eyes a bit.
I could definitely see what you mean.
So yeah.
Alright, so if that's over, then it'll be time for our ratings. So, Daniel, what would you give the episode?
Well, the episode overall is very positive for me, and despite the negative a bit, I still overall enjoyed the episode, and yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Alright. 4.5. Here we go. Oh, by the way, a little update. For those who are unable to make it, Elite Yoshi, Drizzle, and Scapegoat have given their ratings as well. They are, in respective Yoshi gave it a 4, Drizzle a 4.5, and Scapegoat a 4. So, anyways, Shufflet.
Okay, despite the negative I mentioned, it's not the negative with the episode itself, so it's kind of still don't count. However, even though I don't mind it that much, it was still a bit too much cringy in some aspects, as Violet said. So, also 4.5 out of 5.
Alright.
As well as Glim Glam in a Zimzam.
Shh, be careful. Will might show up and point guns at us.
Bring it. He doesn't even know how to hold a gun.
Try telling that to Golden.
Anyway, update. Crimson gave a rating in the Twitch chat. He gave it a 4 as well. Violet.
I'm giving it a 4.
All right. Oh, there we go. Froze on me for a second. Alright.
Let it go, let it go.
No, not that.
Corner.
To be...
The corner's not here. Oh wait, wrong call. Never mind.
Haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah.
Alright, my turn. I'm gonna give this episode a 4. I mean, even upon my first viewing, I knew this wasn't gonna be one of my top favorites of season 8. It's still pretty good on its own. It made Star and Sunburst a lot more sympathetic and likable. The ball I thought was really good. It felt, it was pretty similar to Parallel to Glidance, but it's done it much better than Parallel to Glidance because they actually mentioned that both sides are to blame and not just one. So I appreciate that. The biggest downside for me, like I said, but the old lore behind the map being retconned a little bit. And also, it did get pretty cringeworthy, especially with the perfume.
I think there's something wrong.
Say it, man.
Yes?
Say it.
Oh, I'll begin to that shortly. Kanata?
4 out of 5 for me.
Okie dokie.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
No.
Alright, Blitz?
3 out of 5.
Was it 3?
Yep.
Alright. There we go. Let's see. Who's next? Looney?
4.5.
Alright. 4.5 for Looney. We all are a little Looney. Sunny?
I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
4? Okay. I'm really starting to sense a pattern.
I sense a disturbance.
I was wondering if we could have referenced that. David?
I give it a 4.
Ooh, okay. 4 it is. And lastly, Balto?
3.5.
Alright. 3.5 for Balto. So
Make sure to double check your math this time.
Shut up!
Wow. Whoa.
We're not gonna let Ben live that down.
Hey, at least
No.
the map's.
Of course
at least,
not.
Hey, at least the map is better than a GPS.
Does anyone want to explain
He
that to
said
me?
math, not map.
Oh, I thought he said map.
We said math.
I can't hear you, whippersnappers. I can taste these days. I'm making my day. Okay.
I mean,
I'm
that's
a little man.
talking about.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Whippersnappers.
Or it could be a jerk and have Venom explain himself.
That's a highlight.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just bursted out laughing.
If you call me Uncle Grandpa, I'm gonna hurt you.
Anyway.
Hi, Uncle Jedi.
At least you didn't call me Uncle Grandpa.
Anyway. Guys.
Alright.
Guys.
30s yet, and I can't do that.
Guys.
Alright guys, I finished it. Yes, I did double check. The overall group rating for the parent map is a 4.
Nice.
What a shocking surprise.
Hmm.
I know, right?
Those, no.
Yeah, who would have guessed?
I wonder how that number came to be.
Okay, so also before we end the podcast, I believe Ven is going to admit something.
Say it.
Wait, what? Ooh.
What's going on?
What's going on here?
Alright. It might be a little early, but I'm considering how the track record recently. I'm just gonna say this right now. Put me in the fan club. Glim Glam and the Zim Zam.
Yes!
Yes.
Welcome to the Glim Glam Club.
Please come to the Glam
You
side.
cannot escape the Grim
One
Clan.
of us. One of us.
One of us.
Right, no.
One
Sorry,
of us.
Blitzy,
One
you are
of
in the
us.
minority.
One of us.
Sorry,
No.
Blizz, you're the odd man out here.
I'm the odd one out.
Succumb
Join
to the
us,
club.
Blitzy.
That's weird. You
Join us.
God, it's the village episode all over again.
Melt your face off. I have that power.
And alright.
Come on, Blitzy, it's for the greater good.
Alright.
Guys!
Ow.
Thank you.
Yeah, anyways, that's about it for today's podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us. Tune in next week where we cover non-compete clause. Yeah, I think our song speaks for itself.
Non-complete.
Another AJ versus Rainbow Dash episode.
Sounds like another episode like I'm gonna add to the round episode of the solo
Let's
episode.
season 1 episode.
Anyways, that being said, we'll see you all next time. Peace.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
May the horse be with you.
Bye.
Correction. May the floof be with you.